welcome to your practice. My name is Ashley and this is a 20-minute beginner flow. I have lots of different practices that help you break down beginner yoga poses, and this practice is going to help you bring it all together. So if there's anything that you get confused about or you want a little bit more instruction on, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, my blog at ashleyjosephine.com, and my Yoga Mom online studio so that you can get more instruction and help with some of these common and basic yoga postures. Just because the postures are common or basic, simple, doesn't always mean that they're easy. So most importantly, take care of yourself, listen to your body, and make the adjustments and modifications that you need to make today based on what your body is telling you and what you most need. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with cat-cow, which is a really great stretch for your back. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. And as you exhale, round your spine. Let's try that a couple more times. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, spread across the front of the chest. And exhale, round your spine, press your middle back to the ceiling. One more. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, round your spine. Child's pose is next. Take your knees wide to the outside edges of your mat. Bring your toes together to touch and set your hips down towards your heels. Rest your forehead onto the mat. Now, if it's difficult for you to bring your hips all the way back to your heels, you can always place folded up towels or a blanket underneath your knees for a little extra support. You could place a block or a towel or a blanket underneath your forehead. If it's hard for your arms to come out in front of you, you can always bend your elbows or even take your arms back behind you. And it's okay if your hips don't come all the way down to your heels. Take a deep breath in and a big breath out. Now inhale, rise back up into tabletop on your hands and your knees and step your right foot forward in between your hands. That small movement is very challenging for some people. So if you need to use your hands to help you pull your foot forward, by all means you can do that. If you need blocks or something underneath your hands to keep you elevated off your leg, you can use those props. And if you just need to find your own way to get into this position, by all means find the way that works best for you. You can keep your hands down low. You can take your hands to the top of your thigh. You could reach your arms up overhead. Wherever you feel comfortable with the arms overhead, you'll be challenging your balance a little more. But I want you to think about bringing weight forward into your front foot. So you might start to feel some lengthening, some stretch across the back thigh. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's do one more here. Big breath in. And on your exhale, release your hands back down to the ground and step to tabletop so that we can lunge on the other side. This time, step your left foot forward in between your hands. However you need to get there, weight forward in that foot and find the arm variation that works best for you. I want you to think about really lunging forward, bringing your hips forward in space. If the arms are overhead, keep the shoulders relaxed, maybe a nice little bend in the elbows. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Release your hands down to the ground. This time, instead of stepping back into tabletop, step forward into a forward fold. Your feet can be hip distance apart or together, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Relax your head and your neck, and then press down through your feet and rise all the way up to stand. Let your arms hang down by your side. This is something called mountain pose, and it's a really great foundational pose. You can come back to this pose at any time throughout your day to calm yourself down, feel more centered and grounded. You could close your eyes here if that's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I want you to feel strong in your legs, but open and soft in your shoulders and your upper body. From here, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale forward, fold, bend your knees, and bring your hands down to the ground. Inhale into halfway lift, lengthen the spine. You can press your hands into your shins or your thighs so that your spine is nice and long. As you exhale, fold back down. Now, bend your knees here as much as you need. You do not need straight legs. Press through your feet, rise all the way up to stand, reach your arms overhead, And then as you exhale, let the hands fall back down by your side. Let's do that 2 more times following the pace of your own breath. You can go as fast or as slow as you feel works for you today. This is called a modified or a simple sun salutation. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold back down. Press through the feet, rise all the way up to stand, and then come back into your mountain pose, arms down by your side. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. This is a really great way to get blood moving, energy flowing. Fold back down. Press through the feet, rise all the way up to stand, and exhale, release your hands down by your side. Come back to your breath. You might notice your heart rate has increased a little. This is a nice chance to come back to a balanced place. Deep breaths. Now this time we'll go into a yogi squat called firebolt pose, also sometimes called chair pose. Bring your weight back into your heels and sit your hips low like you're sitting down into a chair. Maybe you can hover the toes up off the ground. That's how much weight is coming back into your heels. Arm variations here, you could bring your hands to your hips, hands to heart center, arms overhead, whatever feels good in your shoulders. See if you can sit those hips a little lower. You might feel some burning starting in the thigh muscles here. Take a deep breath in. Now I want you to bring all of your weight over into your right foot and step your left foot back behind you into a lunge position, and then pivot your back foot down. You can adjust the stance as you need, coming into warrior 2. So check out this right knee. Make sure it's not collapsing inwards. Generally, the knee's pointing about in the same direction as the toes. You can put a lot of weight into the outer edge of your back foot, and then lunge into that front leg here. Reach your arms out to the side and gaze out over your right fingertips. Take a breath in and a breath out. Now we're into the standing poses, building stamina, endurance, energy. Your heart rate might be slightly elevated again. Just keep coming back to your breath, making sure that you can breathe through all of these postures. One more inhale here. As you exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Step back into a high plank position, building core strength here. Always an option to lower your knees down to the ground. Just make sure your knees are far enough back so that you really are challenging your core muscles here. Either knees up or knees down. Can you take a breath in and feel your rib cage, the sides of your body, expanding just a little bit? I know you're working. Breath in and exhale. Lower your knees down to the ground. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. You're in a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Let's come back into that firebolt pose, that squat. Weight back into your heels. Sit your hips low, reach your arms high. We're not going to stay here long. We're just using this to transition into our warrior 2 on the other side. So now all the weight is going to come into your left foot, and take a big step back with your right foot. Pivot the right foot down and adjust your stance. I like to lengthen my stance a little more. That gives me some room to lunge low into my left leg. I'm checking out where my knee is located, and then my arms come out to the side, and I gaze softly over my left fingertips. I like to spread my fingers wide and feel the energy flowing through my arms. That helps me feel strong here. And that's what being a warrior is all about, cultivating strength. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Release the hands down to the ground. We're coming back to plank, a great pose for building core strength. Hug your belly in, hug the sides of your body in. Those oblique muscles are engaged. Hug your low back muscles in so it feels like you're bracing almost 360 degrees around your entire torso. Your core is more than just that rectus abdominis, what we consider those six-pack abs. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Lower your knees down to the ground. Step your right foot forward in between your hands, coming back into that low lunge so you can keep your back knee down here. You can always let your hands rest on your thigh if you need extra support for your balance. And if you want to challenge yourself even more, you could always curl your back toes under and lift the back knee for a high lunge, up to you. We're going into a twist here, so I'm going to give you some options. The first option is to bring your left hand to the inside of your right foot, and you might feel more comfortable with a block or something a little bit higher off the ground to support your hand on. Then you reach your right fingertips up overhead. So this is a nice twist or rotation of the spine. Option to go a little deeper in the twist if you feel like your back is ready for that. You take the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh and use that elbow to help you rotate the spine open. You can bring the palms of your hands together and stack your elbows. Just make sure that wherever you choose to be, you can breathe. It might feel like you can't take quite as deep of a breath, but you still want to be able to focus on your breathing. That's what makes yoga yoga. Otherwise, it's just stretching or exercise. Take a breath in and exhale. Release the hand down to the ground. Step back. You can come back into that tabletop position and know that child's pose or tabletop, those cat-cows, are really great places to just take a breather, take a rest if you're not ready to move on to the next pose. So feel free to take those rests whenever you need it. Coming into our twist on the other side, option to keep your back knee down. My left foot is forward this time. To take into that high lunge, you lift the back knee and really press actively through your back heel. That will keep the back leg strong. Keep the right hand down this time, reach the left arm up for the twist, or take the left hand across the thigh, stack the palms, or press the palms together, stack the elbows, and then press gently into your elbow on the leg to help you rotate and twist the spine. Wherever you want to be here, take one more breath in and exhale, release the hand down. Now step your back foot forward to the front of the mat, come into a fold here, relax your head and your neck. It might feel nice to interlace your hands behind you and reach your arms overhead, get into your shoulders a little bit. Release your hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold back down and rise up to stand. All right. We are going to move into some balance. We'll try dancer pose. If you need a wall or a chair to help you with your balance, feel free to find a place where you feel like you can be most supported. All the weight is going to shift into your left foot here. Reach back and grab hold of your right foot with your right hand. Now you'll see that I turn my palm face out and grab hold of the inside edge of the foot. That keeps your chest open so that when you press the foot back into your hand, your shoulder has more room to allow for that extension. The opposite arm reaches out in front of you. Reach with the front fingertips as much as you're pressing back through the foot behind you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, if you wobble or fall, that's okay. It's part of the practice. Just come right back into it. Don't take yourself too seriously here. It's not worth it. One more inhale on this side and exhale, release. Shake that out through the arms and the legs. All right, let's come back to that mountain for a moment. Take a breather, big breath in. Big sigh out. It's a lot harder to practice when I'm talking you through all the poses. So I'm getting out of breath here. Let's bring the weight into the right foot, reach back, grab hold of the left foot. Again, palm turns out. I'm grabbing the inside edge. Kick the foot into the hand, reach the opposite arm forward. Keep the core strong and engaged, and find one point of focus, something not moving, where you can stare at to keep you focused, and that will help you with your balance. You might find that one side is a little bit easier to balance on than the other. That's totally normal, and it's okay. Don't worry about it. No use trying to think like, well, why is this one side worse than the other? Just go with the flow, go with it. Most of us use one side of the body more than the other. One side is stronger than the other. That's just how it is. Take a deep breath in and exhale, release. Whew. Shake that out through the arms and the legs. Your left foot now can step back behind you and then turn to face the long side of your mat. We're coming into another squat, a wide squat this time. So turn your heels in and your toes out so your feet are at about a 45-degree angle. Sit your hips low. Again, your knees are pointing in the general direction of your toes. You can sit as low as you feel comfortable going, but challenge yourself just a little bit. You can do it. I'm already feeling some of that burning in my thighs. Bring your hands together at heart center. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, draw the hands back to your heart. 2 more times. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the heart. This time, if you want to add a little movement in the legs, inhale, straighten the legs as the arms sweep up. And then exhale, bend the knees, squat back down as you bring the hands together to heart center. Take your hands to your thighs. Press the thighs back and drop your left shoulder toward the center of your legs. Nice little twist there. Come back to center, drop the opposite shoulder down. Using the hands to press the thighs gently back. Inhale back to center, hands to center. Can you stack your shoulders over your hips? Can you sink your hips a little bit lower? Nice work. One more inhale, we're almost done. Exhale, stand tall. Nice job, we're done with those standing poses. Now we're gonna cool things down. Step back to the front of the mat. Come back to that mountain, arms by your side. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Step back into plank. You can lower your knees to the mat if you need. I'm gonna do that. And then with control, bend your elbows and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Rest your forehead on the mat. You can rest your forehead on the back of your hands too if you like. And maybe wiggle your hips side to side here. That can feel nice in the low back. Preparing for cobra. A little back bend here. Take your hands, the palms of your hands, and place them underneath your shoulders. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. As you inhale, lift your chest, just as high as it feels comfortable in your low back. Exhale, lower down. Again, inhale, lift up. Maybe you put a little weight in your hands and lift a little higher. Again, listen to your body. Exhale, lower. And one more time, inhale, lift up. Draw the shoulders back and down. Exhale, lower down. Again, rest your forehead on the back of your hands. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now roll over onto your back for bridge pose. Lie down on your back. Place your feet right underneath your knees with the toes pointing straight forward. Your arms are down by your side. Press your feet into the ground. Inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Feel the strength of your legs here. Imagine you have a block or a book in between your thighs, your inner thighs, and you're squeezing that imaginary block together. Your legs are going to stay in the same position. They're not moving towards one another, but you're feeling the activation of the muscles in your legs. And then maybe you can lift high enough so that you can pull your shoulder blades closer together. Feel like you're lifting a little higher here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly lower your hips down to the ground. Walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. A nice way to relieve tension in your low back. So a lot of these poses are poses that you could just practice independently. You don't always have to practice a whole flow. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll take a figure 4. Bring the right foot over your left thigh. Grab hold behind your leg, either your thigh or your knee. And you can use your right elbow here to gently press your right leg forward if you like. You'll feel this in your right hip. I know I'm feeling it. So as I was saying, these poses can be practiced independently for even just 3-5 breaths. If you're feeling really tight in your hips, this figure 4 stretch is nice. If you need some relief for your low back, the cat-cows are really great. If you just need a little jolt of energy, those simple sun salutations are an awesome way to get out of a rut in the middle of the day. So there's always an opportunity to find just small moments to practice. Sometimes you just have to pay attention to what it is that your body needs and then respond accordingly. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then release that side, hug the knees into the chest, and switch, bring your right foot over your left thigh and pull the right leg in. And just like when we were balancing, one side might be a lot different than the other side. I know that's true for me and most of my students. So just notice that. And rather than trying to think about, well, how do I fix this? Just breathe into it. Let it be. 2 more breaths here. Maybe you can enjoy some silence and stillness just for a moment. And hug your knees into your chest. Give them a nice little squeeze. We'll come into a supine twist. Bring your arms out to the side. Let your knees fall over to your right. Gaze to your left. If that doesn't feel comfortable in your neck, you can always gaze up to the ceiling or over the opposite hand. And we're not trying to, wring out the spine here at all. Let this be simple. Let it be gentle. You might feel some sensation, but it doesn't need to be extreme in any way. Just an opportunity to breathe into the sides of your body, maybe into your low back. And then inhale, bring the knees back up to center, and exhale, knees fall to the other side. Noticing and following the sensation of your breath in your body. And then inhale, bring your knees back together. You can hug the knees into your chest one last time. Give them a little squeeze. And then release your arms and your legs long into Shavasana, an opportunity to rest. Release tension from your shoulders and your jaw, from your legs and your arms. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. And let your breath come back to its natural state. No more trying to control it. Don't worry about how deep it is. Simply be for the next minute or so. And if you have time to stay here and this feels relaxing to you, feel free to stay longer. This is so important to rest and to give your body a rest and your mind a rest and your whole self a little relaxation. Excuse me. But if you need to move on with your day, slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms overhead. Roll over onto one side and come up to a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. You can let your hands rest on your lap or bring your hands together at heart center. Let's take a final breath together. Big breath in through your nose. And a sigh out through the mouth. Thank you so much for showing up for this practice and for showing up for yourself. And I hope to see you on the mat again soon. Namaste.